Hello there! Is health and defense better for a rally, or should we use an attack setup? I recommend you not to blink and to watch until the end, because we are going to answer this question. Drop a like, subscribe, bye! A crucial part of this game is obviously the equipment. The questions I personally receive the most are statistic related. Which to choose? Attack, defense, health? One of the very first videos that I published on this channel was a breakdown of the statistics and how the formula works. By the way, card up on the top if you feel like watching that video later. But today, we will be doing practical tests by rolling our kingdom's own level 1 pass. Why did I choose the level 1 pass? Easy. You don't get dead troops for rolling the troops garrisoning that structure. Just a nice hospital bill. Today we will not test with tier 1. Today it's a full tier 5 test. This is a reliable simulation of what happens in your KVK or on the battlefield. I tried to level up things as much as I could, even if TBLR here, the alliance garrisoning the pass, does not have the same holy sites, but who wins or who loses the battle in this case doesn't matter. We just want to analyze the equipment's behavior when you choose one statistic over another. And this also answers another very asked question. Wick, why don't you publish videos every day? Yeah, to make this type of video, I spend a lot of time between testing and editing, especially editing in this case, so it's impossible for me to bring you this type of video every day. I honestly prefer to take a bit more time and publish less videos, but with a higher quality. Anyway, both the Rallier and the Defender are VIP 17, and we are using a full T5 rally and a full tier 5 defense for each test, as you can see here. We are defending with Zenobia and YSS. For this reason we included 10,000 cavalry as well, so we activate YSS bonus for 2 troop types. Again, it's just a defense and it's not the point of the video. I'm not saying that Zenobia and YSS is the best defense against GUAN. You can really use whatever you want for the purpose of the testing. Then you need to choose what combination works the best for you. I'm just making a breakdown for you to see how we conducted this particular testing. It's not necessary to say that the conditions were exactly the same throughout the battles. War frenzy on both sides, which is not always granted. If the garrison leader does not scout or attack something on the field, he will not have the war frenzy, so pay attention. The equipment of the garrison leader was always the same, the talent trees were always the same, the troop types that were joining the same, so no variation in the special units either. The only variable here is the equipment of the rally. Let's go! The rally up left was the first to die, followed in order by the up right, bottom left and bottom right rallies. We tested with 4 completely different sets of equipment, so if you want to guess the results before I reveal the exact equipment, you can press pause, comment in the section down below and then resume to see if you were right. Just a small game for you. As you can see, the first one up on the top left was the full attack set, which was also the first one to die, by the way. I will give you a complete breakdown afterwards, so wait for it. On the top right, we have a heavily focused health equipment with some defense. On the bottom left, another heavily focused defense and health set, picking up as many of those stats as possible, while on the bottom right, we have a mix set with attack, defense and health. So, before jumping to conclusions, because you may be actually very surprised, I'm putting on the screen the total amount of statistics the commander had with each set of equipment. Keep in mind that I've calculated every piece with special talent as well, so what you see on the screen is exactly what our friend Matt had during the battle. The lowest amount of stats is the health version of the equipment, which we could stack only 29.5%, and together with 19.5% defense, we had 49% total stats, while the set on the bottom right had the highest amount of stats, a total of 88.5%. Picking up health is very difficult, because very few are the pieces and very low are the stats you actually get. And this should already represent a signal on why it's important to pick up health in the first place. Anyway, let's analyze each result one by one. First, full attack equipment. The battle lasted for 2 minutes and 24 seconds, the shortest one. We were basically a glass cannon. 194,000 sevs for us, 107,000 sevs for the garrison, with 36.5% troops remaining for the defenders. The difference in severely wounded is 86,500. Second one, health focus, but with only 49% total statistics, so more than 20% less than the previous rally. Total duration 2 minutes and 54 seconds, so 30 seconds more. 213,000 sevs for us, 118,000 for the garrison, with 413,000 troops remaining. Difference of 95,500 sevs, just 9,000 more with 20% less statistics, and it was not a lucky round, I checked. So we decided for the third to have approximately the same amount of statistics compared to the first one where we focused on attack. But of course spread more towards defense, because there are not many convenient pieces where you can stack health without giving up to way more defense. And surprise, surprise, the battle lasted over 3 minutes, and the garrison dropped to 24% health by the end of the round. We will make a comparison in a moment. Last round, mix statistics, but 88.5% total, so we picked up everything, as much as we could. Of course, with 23% more statistics and still a good focus on defense and health, the result is going to be better. But listen, we achieved that only because we had a specialized hammer that gives you 33.5% attack, one single item. So this is the only case in which you should prefer an attack weapon over a 10.5% health weapon, because you have 23% more stats with one item, and as much valuable as health can be, 23% is still a lot. And no way you can get the same result with a Sakura Fubuki. The Sakura Fubuki compared to the Blue Shield is I say it here, if this does not prove it to you, I don't know what could. Let's put aside the second and the fourth round and let's pay attention to the following two reports. Those are the first and the third round of battle. Attack focus versus health focus, and when the health piece is not very convenient because it gives you very few points, we pick up defense. So, the equipment on the top had a total, as I said, of 69.5% stats, all focused on attack, just 1 point on health, not relevant. The bottom one had 65.5% stats, so approximately the same, even 4% less. Which is the result? We had less casualties with the bottom report, we killed more, and the garrison dropped to 24% health by the end of the battle, compared to the 36.5% from the first one, the top one. Nonetheless, the craft time is lower in the case of the defense health equipment, because it requires you less materials. Not many, but less. So, what do you guys think? In my opinion, health is a true gem. So unless you have a big piece of equipment to replace a health piece like a specialized armor with 33.5% attack huge, I think there are some pieces which you cannot replace. They are cheap and they are extremely effective. I'm speaking of course about the elite blue weapon and the epic purple leg piece. This video took a long effort to make, so if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to make similar round of testings with cavalry and archers as well. And I will see you on the next one. Ciao!